Yo, Mukeman here doing some post commentary on the run because the game audio was completely messed up. So, I'm just starting up the run, not expecting really anything, because at this point I'm way too deep into this grind. I'm sort of losing my mind. So I did the standard, clear out the room, move on to the next room. If you want to ensure that the sort of everything dies, you should aim where I aim with the dual vipers. Anyway, I missed this guy. Doesn't cost too much time, but it's still a bit annoying. This is same old, nothing new here. Just making sure you don't press start too early or not, and not too late. Do a nice little wrench swing. I hate this part so much. There's so much that can get messed up here. Thankfully, nothing goes wrong here, and I don't have to reset on the beginner qualifier for the 500 millionth time. I get a nice and quick bot spawn with a nice and quick EMP, resulting in me saving some time over my PB here. I'm not really expecting to save any time on Catachrome or Zarathos because, as you can see, it's almost tied to my best ever pace or best ever gold on these splits, so I think I managed to save time, but I mean, just keeping even is really good. So this is just your standard, pick the Rhino, ensure that it's picked. That's a new strat, it's a tiny bit faster, just going to the right there instead. I get the Rhino shot, which is nice because it's easy to either miss or get the start menu up there. I've missed this so many times because I'm greedy, so the missiles don't focus solely on the mines or whatever the barriers. But no problems here, nice and easy, thankfully. So now I hate this challenge so much because I've done it so many times and it's not consistent when the zombie robots spawn. Sometimes you get them all, sometimes you only get one, but I think this time, yeah, there you have one, and then you sort of lose track on everything else. Thankfully, nothing else went wrong, and I still get I didn't even see 26, 25, which is fine. I think I'm losing, yeah, I'm losing time here. A bit of time, but I mean, I can't even see how much plus I am. I have the worst color for the plus number. So Zarathos, this challenge, I mean, I don't really like it because I don't really have the consistency down for the robots. Sometimes they spawn somewhere else, sometimes they sort of cross each other, but this time it went all well. Kill all the enemies, sort of not the best timing, but still really good. That part was good because I skipped bonking in, or not bonking in, but stopping at the enemy. But I get a bad angle, so I think I need to do an extra hyper stack here, just to ensure that I don't die. Yeah, that's just to, you can do one less if you get a better angle. This one goes really well. You should only need, 5 hyper stacks, and then if you direct your body left or right, you won't drop the ledge grab. Here you can also jump up instead of doing another hyper stack and do a ledge grab, you can just jump up. This challenge, there's nothing new here, you just wait for 10 seconds on each orb. Quite boring, but it is what it is. this is just like another run out of 1,000. I'm not thinking too much about this. It's like I just want to get somewhere, because I think like the last 5 or 10 runs were all the sort of advanced qualifier to Catacomb to Zarathos. Like everything died at the start. So at this point I'll just be happy with anything. I don't think I lose too much time, but I'm still losing like 1 or 2 seconds due to that extra hyperstack. Now we move on to one of the more difficult planets, Chronos, and where so much can go wrong. But I think, yeah, everything goes well here. The bots actually spawn a bit too late to get the ideal respawn point, or whatever you call it. As you can see, he has to move a tiny bit, but I mean it's still really good. So for the next part I prepared the flail so that I can sort of flail cancel over the tiny gap. And the thing I do is I press triangle until I get the flail, because that means that you can actually flail cancel. If you sort of do shoot triangle, like R1 triangle, and you get the flail out, you won't be able to do a flail cancel. Also, to get up here, I sort of pace out the jump inputs. You can't spam those because then you won't get over the edge. But this goes really well. I get a 27. So far, this Chronos is really good. I do a mind clip here instead because it's more consistent and it's faster. And if you miss, you can just place another mine instead of trying to climb up again. I want to talk about this part because it's easy that you lose a lot of time here, but if you are fast enough and if you clear out these early enemies, it's possible that I think that the bots will sort of go backwards to go towards those enemies, and that's why you lose time when they go backwards. But as you can see, I was lucky, so there was no enemies left, so the bots didn't have anything locked in, so they just move forward, because if there's enemies left they will just do Michael Jackson out of there. So I get a 35, which is really good. Even though I missed the first mine clip, it's like due to there not being any enemies, it went really well. This is nothing special. You won't fail this if you're not too greedy, which I am most of the time, trying to sort of cut early on the Rhino shot. But what's that? I didn't see 18 or 19, something like that. This one I just sort of spam X and square to get up there. It's much easier than the other one. Also, you want to avoid standing on the middle of the elevator shaft between that to avoid the bot spawning. I missed the first mine, and I'm thinking, oh, the run is over. But the bot actually follows me, which never happens, because usually the bots sort of stop at the barrier and results in shell shock never spawning. So I lose a tiny bit of time because I missed the mine clip, but I'm still saving time, which is good. So this is the best arena because there's it has the most movement, and I think, yeah, this one went really well. So this challenge, just clear out the enemies, remember where everything spawns. I'm not sure though, because how this works exactly, because like sometimes it feels like you're doing really well and then you get like a 26, 27, and sometimes it feels like you're not doing that good and you get a 24. But still, I get a 25, which is really good. Nice movement here. I do not mess this up in any way. And here I sort of use the flail to get over because it's more consistent than doing a shotgun cancel. Like, I snipe the ship, I get a good spawn with the spike dudes, so the platforms spawn early. I actually get this. This is really difficult, and I didn't bonk into the lava there. And here I'm getting quite good spawns. Like, you want them sort of grouped up. This is really bad because they spawn one at a time in each corner. But I think I still got it 35. So here I also picked the flail because it's more consistent to do a flail cancel here, so that you catch an earlier cycle on this challenge. Nothing too special here, just standard movement. There I wait a tiny bit because you can go earlier, but I don't know if you even save any time because you have to wait either way. Bada bing, bada boom. This is the difficult part, getting the early menu. So I sort of have a claw grip on the start button and I start spamming after Orkson is done, and I get it. So I'm saving time here as well. So funny enough, Shar is not really a terrible planet or anything like that anymore. It's quite an easy planet right for now, or for me at this stage, because it's only the second challenge that usually is a problem. But if you, as you can see, restart the challenge, you have plenty of time for the robots to spawn correctly. So here, the only thing that can mess you up if you're getting stun locked by the turrets, so that you don't get the robot up there fast. I've also sort of started implementing a mine clip here, because it gets more consistent 40, like from 39 to 41s on this challenge, because before I got like 42s, 43s by not mine clipping, but with mine clipping it's more consistent, and I think I get a 40 here. No, a 41. Here you all want to make sure that you move forward between those, just so you don't get stuck. Here, if you don't sort of glide before you charge on the second charge, you need to go around. But I get everything goes well here. Unfortunately, the bots are the bots, so I bonk, losing a tiny bit of time. This part is so satisfying, putting out the turret and then turning the bolt. But all in all, a really solid Char. So still at this point, this is nothing new. Like, usually, like before, I got really stressed like around this part because it was like, oh, I got past Char. Okay, this is the run. But at this point, nothing has been a run besides when you sort of pass Stygia. I missed marking those, but it's not too bad because I get a 13 instead of a 12. Not too bad. Here I go for a safer strat. This strat is 10 million times more consistent than I think anything you could see in a previous run, because as you can see, the second bot didn't get up, but even though it's not up, it will get up. So I don't have to worry about that too much. Like, usually it gets up right away, and that's the best outcome, but if it gets stuck, it will eventually get up there. And it still times well with that bolt, so like nothing lost really. Then I avoid doing this myself because those turrets, laser turrets, spawn so late, so that your mines will go somewhere else and not protect you. But I get a 49, which, I mean, optimally you're looking for a 43, but then you have to do a riskier strat, which loses your run, like, almost always. So there's no way I'm going for that. Also here, you have to mark the left one first before the right one, because otherwise the bot messes up and respawns besides you here instead of instant hacking. So basically what I'm saying is do exactly as I do. But I think this is, let's see, 36 or 37. Yeah, 36. So this orc son is really good. This challenge is nothing special besides the first one where you can easily miss. All the other ones are easy to hit. I pick up the shotgun before the next planet, so I have that for the next challenge. So I'm moving on, still losing some time due to the first challenge not being like close to sub 12 seconds instead of high 13. So this challenge goes really well. I do this exact pattern every time I do this challenge, and it works really well. I look back to sort of just ensure that everything spawns, snipe the ship with the mine launcher. So everything you see here is sort of planned out. And I sort of hold ammo because you need it later to sort of pre-place things. So I sort of try to use it as little as possible. Like in this corner you want to have some extra mines because like the last round tends to spawn there. You also want extra there because that's the hottest spawn. Also here. And I think, yeah, and then you just put the last ones here, and then you sort of wiggle the camera to ensure that everything spawns. And I get a 1 minute, which is really good. Here, I get the clip here. This clip is like so difficult to get, but it doesn't lose or save too much time, but it still feels really good to get. I do an extra flail there to ensure that the bot doesn't get blocked by the minions or the enemies that spawn. Charge in here to get our earlier bolt crank. And overall this Crusader tournament went really well. Yeah, I get a 05 there as well. So here you can't get an early menu really, but you can sort of get it. But overall a really good Crusader tournament. So this is one of the biggest run killers for me, Valek's belt, because it's so easy to lose time. Like if you look at this, I do only one hyperstack and I'm millimeters from my death. So I gambled and it paid off by saving like 1.5 seconds. Everything else goes quite well. I sort of choose the rhino, shoot a shot, then I ensure that all the enemies are killed with an extra mine, because right now the bots kill the leftover enemies, but they usually rarely ever do. So this challenge is horrible because it's so long and it's so easy for like one of the smaller guys to get stuck somewhere and you miss it and you move on, and then you're like, oh no, I need to go back, and then you lose time and then you do it again, but blah, 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 and you lose like 10 seconds. And also the sort of bounces that they get from when you hit them with their ship it feels random. So I don't think I get the best bounce, but I don't think I still get a really good time here. Look there, one guy survives, and you can easily miss that. But here everything goes well. Also, something that I noticed playing this game is that the higher the ship is, the more likely the missiles will hit the targets. This goes, like, the ending here goes really well. Like all the missiles hit, so I don't have to go back to those. I get a 113, which is good. This challenge is also really easy to mess up on because these mine clips, believe it or not, are quite difficult to achieve. And here the enemies can easily shoot you, or there's an enemy on the other side blocking you, but everything here goes quite well. I managed to quickly get the shotgun out. So I can set this up correctly, I get a good angle, and I only require 2 hyper stacks. You usually go for 3 if you want to be on the safe side. And this is, like I keep just telling you, like this part, I hate this part because the bots sometimes follow you, they don't follow you, they insta-spawn. This time it insta-spawned, but I have the minimap out to sort of know if they will insta-spawn or not. If they start following you, after you're done with the sort of slingshots, you know they won't sort of insta-spawn. This part is always so beautiful, seeing like the 90-degree turns with the flail. But I think I golded this, because this was a really good Valix belt. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, the flight mission could have been a tiny bit better. So now for the biggest time save in the game. As you can see, it says 26 seconds down to the right at the life splits. This challenge is so easy to mess up, but if you do it exactly like I do, you will never mess it up here. So I waited a tiny bit to sort of time the response. I get a good EMP, mark everything correctly, pull out the rocket launcher, and here comes the new beautiful strat discovered by Cypress. So I restart the challenge, so it's just like an IL, and then I get up here, get a good spot. That exact spot you will always want to aim for and shoot from that other exact spot. Anything else will likely not result in you clearing it at the fastest possible time. So Mobius thinks this route is more inconsistent. I do not, because if you hold right, the bot will always follow you, so there's no issue there. So I like this route more. And oh, this I so love the bike proxy on the turret. It's so sexy. So as you can see, this Torval is the sickest ever. I have like this. I think this is the best Torval I have ever gotten, and I get it in my run. Like, you will see how much time I'm going to save after this split, just because like this plan is so difficult to get everything correct. Except this last challenge. This challenge is a real snooze. But what can you do? It is what it is. Oh, here it comes. Are you ready? Are you ready? Like, my time save is not even ticking down. And boom! I golded. I'm ahead with 33 flipping seconds. Oh, that was so beautiful. That Torwall. I think that was the best possible Torval you could ask for. Ever. Honestly. Because the first challenge went really well. 28. Then I got an 11. And then I got the bike proxy. Like, you can't ask for a better Torval than that. This one, however, did not go as well. Like, I should get a 37, I got like a 40 or something, because I missed the early sniper shots. And stuff like that. I missed the smaller enemies with the shotgun. So, unfortunately, I'm losing a tiny bit of time, but hey, what can you do? This is just a 2-minute break. Nothing happens here. I don't know. What should I even say here? At this point, yeah. At this point, like, my heart is beating like crazy, but I'm still quite cool, just because I've had like at least 10 runs be minus 30 after Torval, and then losing them on Stygia, because Stygia, I hate Stygia. Like, Orxon and Stygia are easily the worst planets for bots, because the bots can just, they can be like, hey, you know what, frick you, I'll do what I want. And I think Valix Belt, like, that's another category because that's only on you, sort of, because it's so difficult to perform optimally. But if you would ask for me which are the worst planets, or the planets I choke most on, bot wise, it would be Stygia and Orxon. And when it comes to difficulty, you have Torval and Valix Belt, because I mean those are just pure skill and are so difficult to perform, like flawless. But I'm quite cool now, because as I've said, I've seen this amount of time saved like a couple of times, so I'm not thinking yet like this is the run. What I'm thinking is, if I get past Stygia, this is the run. But right now, it's like, trying to act cool. That's where I'm at right now. There's nothing special here, you just start with the flail, or start with the rhino, then the flail, and then 2 shots from the rhino. And then you sort of do the claw grip with the start button again, so you can smash it to get the early menu, which I get. And honestly, it's more difficult because we're using SSD. Before we used, because the loading times are less now. So now we're on to Stygia, horrible planet, or sort of a mix, I would say. Just because of the RNG aspect of the robots, this planet is... I missed this. I don't know why I missed this. I think I turned around too early. But it doesn't lose too much time. So, I mean, it's fine. Here I try to be as much to, like, you see I'm hugging the corner, but still that guy spawns. I don't know what is the spawn or the trigger for his spawn, but I performed this new strat really well. So as you can see, I'm cutting the corners quite well, and I get a 48, which is really good. Here you can see that the bots don't get up as fast as they should, and I thought the run is dead. And I see this bot spawn here, and I'm like, we're good. Phew. Because if that bot doesn't spawn there, the run is over. Or not over, but you lose like 10 seconds plus. But like everything else goes, like it goes, okay, fine, whatever. Just get me away from this challenge. So here is another difficult challenge to get correct, but I nosedive, mark this, mark the right one, mark the left one, and if you want to replicate this, you have to hold this exact same position, clear the exact same enemies to have the highest possibility that the first bot hacks the left right away, because if it doesn't hack the left right away, what happens is they both sort of go the same lane. Right now they're split up, and you lose 10 seconds plus. So for me to get both of these without any problems is so good, and I get the best one. Like, there happens sometimes that the left one gets stuck or gets damage locked, but I get the best one. This one I did really well. I've practiced this really a lot. I used the sniper here just because I can't use the rocket launcher there. And I get a 13, which is really, really good. So this is the worst part of the run. Because at this point my heart is racing. Like, it's hard not to panic here. Because I'm thinking this is the run, this is the run, this is the run, and I can see here the angle is bad, so I panic, and I miss this 3 times. Like, it's so bad. So I'm thinking, that's not an issue, I'm minus 37. That's fine, right? You would think. And the problem here is that I practiced this to sort of, like, I recall the bot and then I mark it to turn the node, but I think I did it too much, so it got to the node too fast, because this is way too early. So this will result in the bot sort of spawning way earlier than I want to on this last bolt. As you can see, I wanted to spawn right here next to the bolt. Like, now I have time to mine clip the last door, but this mine clip is really difficult, so as you can see I miss it. And this is where I panic. This is where I panic. Because this is going really great, but look at this BS. I clip through. I do not know why. I have never done it. I don't know if there was a mine, I don't know, but I just clipped through, died. And lost, what is it, 8 seconds or something like that, 8-9 seconds. But, so I mean, there's nothing really you can do about that. So as you can see, I'm already losing time, and I'm not even done. So it's like, here I'm just thinking this run is just going to bleed out and be a -1 again. But I mean, turns out I was wrong. This challenge felt like it went like crap, but it seems, looking at the end time, that it went really well. But as you can see, I missed one guy. That really stings. But here, I wait out a bit of time, and honestly, my nerves are a bit more cool now, because it's like, okay, whatever, this is just going to be another 40. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like, this run is going to bleed out, and it's going to be another whatever run. But this goes quite well. There was another one just surviving, like 1 left. I hate when that happens. So that's why I'm thinking like this challenge is going to be like a 103, 104. But it turns out to be a 58, surprisingly. This challenge is quite simple if you just remember where everything spawns at different scores. So I have this memorized, nothing new here. Although this is a bit annoying, because the enemies that drop down, like everywhere else, they instantly spawn and you can kill them right as the box lands. But on this challenge you have to wait a tiny bit. Not sure why, but it is what it is. So 42 is meh, it's a whatever time. And luckily here my rhino doesn't sort of get stuck. And this is still painful. I missed this early menu. I sort of recovered a tiny bit, but whatever. But the good thing is that I'm not bleeding anymore. I stopped the bleeding. I patched it up. I'm not bleeding anymore. I only have time save to go. So Ghost Station, Ghost Station is scary just because of the last challenge with the ship, because now I'm nervous again. Now I'm really nervous again. And as I almost missed that. I was so close to death, but I avoided it. So here's another advice. I aim way to the left here just to ensure that the balls don't spawn next to your mine so you get stuck there. So I get that first try, I get this first try. I take it carefully here because if there's a possibility that you clip through and die like it did on Meraxis, so there I'm taking it way safer. A really good challenge overall. And here I'm getting to go state. Like this challenge is so horrible. But I missed that box, but I get it almost right after, so we're fine. I still don't know how Mobius got a 46 on this challenge. I'm not gonna even try it. Like, I struggle, like if I grind this, I struggle to just get a sub 50 on this challenge. So you have to take huge risks to get a good time, which I'm not doing at this point. There's no way I'm doing that. But it goes really well. I was so afraid that third to last turret was not going to die, but everything goes fine. I get a 53. It's not optimal, but it's whatever. And I save time again. And I'm back to being minus 30. Thank you. And this, oh my word. This is the best part. So this is really difficult to get, but I get it first try. I take it super easy here, because if you go too much left, you clip through again, and you can't do this, and you have to restart the challenge. But no issues here. And this is easily the most difficult part of the run, right here. Like doing the flight cancel, but I get that. And here, you have to ensure that the bot doesn't get stuck on the left thingy. So I marked the right one and charge over here to just ensure that the bot does that right away. But I mean, at this point, whew, my nerves, man. I was so nervous because I'm almost exactly sub 40. But I do not fail anything. Everything goes super well here. Like, I don't fail any mine clips. Like, this goes really well. And as you will see, this goes really well as well. So at this point, I'm like, I have plenty of time. I'm going to do some extra hyperstacks just to be sure. And watch this. Do you see that? I thought the run was like my life was flashing before my eyes here. Like I could barely mark the bombs here. And you know, of course the bots are going to be stupid, but whatever. And I still have a difficult thing left to do, but oh my word, my life was flashing before my eyes, my hands were shaking. But look at this clutchness. I do this first try. No issue, no problem. Just do it right away. And you can do this in 2 hyperstacks, but there's no way. I'm taking extra precautions everywhere. I just want my sub 40. Screw everything else. I just want sub 40. I just want sub 40. And look at this. I'm so nervous that I can't even choose to shield. The bots mess up a tiny bit, but it's a minimal mess up, so I'm just losing a couple of seconds. And when I'm looking at the time here, I'm panicking because I do not know. I don't remember if you can kill Vox within 30 seconds or not. So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, did I actually get sub 40 or not? Luckily enough, Vox goes Like, I finish him without any issues. No issues here. 0 health, second phase, easy. It's done, baby. I've done it. I've done it, baby. It's done. It's done. I'm never touching this game again. Never. And I get a 39.55. And now for my reaction as I unmuted my mic because I don't want to have my mic on otherwise.
Until battle bell detonation. The escape shuttles all left long ago.
Yes! Yes!
Die together on live television. Best ratings I've ever had. If I can make it out of here alive, a lot of other people escaped tonight. Enjoy pathetic idealism for the last few seconds of your life. What? Get in, Ratchet. There is no time remaining. Just a second.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
5 seconds until
Yes! Shut!
hold still, Ratchet.
Jag gjorde det! Jag gjorde det! Jag höll på att dö! 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 På andra challengen! Du vet ju om man kommer under jorden. Jag gjorde den! Och jag kom under marken! Och jag kom över sen! Och jag förlorade så mycket tid. Jag kunde inte ens klicka, sätta på bomberna. Jag höll på att droppa genom marken. Genom marken! Och jag kom precis över!
Hey, I fixed the comlink. We've got incoming call.
Och robotarna buggar upp sig på sista också.
Will you marry me?
Yes, 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 yes.